friends? Welcome back to Pretend World's Real People. As always, I'm Tyler, and I hope you had an amazing weekend, but also, more importantly, you're having an amazing start to the best month of the year, which is October. I am a huge Halloween nut. I'm super excited about this. I found out there's a brand new Spirit Halloween store by my house that has literally everything I've been wanting for, I don't know, 5 Halloweens now. So half my paycheck is going to go to that. Outside of that, work-wise, it has been a huge whirlwind. I'll say this: I'm glad that one, I didn't give up. Leaving my service job and just trying this whole career pivot wholeheartedly. I am very happy where things are going, and yeah, it's just been a lot of hard work, a lot of exhaustion, but it seems to be paying off at least for right now. So, coming from somebody who spent the better part of 10 years trying and trying and trying and not really getting anywhere, please, if you're listening to this, no matter what you're doing, if you're not an actor or if you are an actor, just don't give up. So, that is my little intro pitch for this episode. But let's get right into business here. I am kicking off this Halloween season with a variety of very special, spooky Halloween guests, starting with Mr. Phi Vu. He is a New Orleans based actor who literally danced his way into the entertainment industry and decided he was going to make a really fun pivot away from medical school and into the arts. And since then, he has nabbed a plethora of roles in films like Logan, I can't even talk today. Logan, Pitch Perfect 2, Happy Death Day, and Happy Death Day to You, with plenty more to come. He is just a really humble and fun guy to talk to. I just can't wait for you guys to listen to this episode, so let's get right into it. Let's sit down and chat with Mr. Phi Vu.
Yo, what's up, guys? My name is Phi Vu. I'm Vietnamese, American Vietnamese. I am an actor. I played in movies like Happy Death Day and oncoming pilot episodes. And I'm here to answer some questions.
Hey, biggest one comes first, dude. How the heck did you get into this job? Like, we can both agree, this is a weird business to get into right off the bat, especially, on the acting side. So how did you come into it?
I love this story all the time because, when growing up as a fellow Asian, with strict traditional parents, I fought for the medical road, and it wasn't for me. I went to a community college where I I had a theater 101 class with my wife, who is, my girlfriend at the time became my wife, but she's my high school sweetheart. Yeah, so we went to theater 101, just a regular class, and for our exam, we had to do a scene together. And then our professor said, "Hey, I'm gonna bring my agency in," because he was an actor. He was an actor who was working under an agency, and for the final exam, he brought them in. Little behold, they gave me a call back and wanted to work with me, and just threw me like an audition, right? And just like, "Hey, let's." It was like, I think it was NCIS or something, interview, kind of interrogation kind of scene. And from then, I worked with them, and then we let off. I moved on after booking Pitch Perfect 2 as a dancer principal role.
Mm.
And then from then on, I kind of just got into it, like acting wise. So I never was an aspiring actor, nor um, was studying into acting. It's interesting enough.
Holy crap.
Dancing was my first. Yeah, dancing was my thing, man. Dancing was like my. I studied on YouTube University in dancing. That's what happened. It was a opening casting call in Baton Rouge, really big during that time, right? Because it's Pitch Perfect.
Of course.
And bruh, like it was insane. Like it was so much people out there. I was like number 654. And then yeah, I know, with attack. And we like dancing to Justin Bieber's I Got Power by Will I Am and Justin Bieber. And yeah, that's when I became a troublemaker. It was like, what's happening to my life right now, kind of moment. It was insane. It was insane.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, you fell right into it. Did you dance before too? Like, were you always kind of like an avid kind of, like maybe the guy that hangs out at parties and just, decides he wants to dance because he's bored or something like that. Like, were you that kind of guy, or how did that come
Yeah.
to be? That's really interesting.
Well, that sounds like you have a friend like that or someone you know like
I am
that.
that guy.
Oh, you're that guy?
Yeah.
Well, we can dance together then, man, one day. That sounds really funny. Yeah, I that's funny. Yeah, so back in high school, I used to practice breakdancing in the gym. I would skip class sometimes with my friends. Say, hey, you wanna go breakdancing? Because the floors are so smooth and you can't
Yeah.
do it in the hallway obviously. So we practiced breakdancing at that time. But I practiced choreography in 2010, when Korean pop started to get a little bit
Mm.
into the YouTube game, and that's when I first started learning dancing. And then who were the choreographers, and I was like learning behind them through YouTube, through YouTube. And I became really well and really good enough to book Pitch Perfect 2 as a dancer. So that was really cool. That was a really cool principle. But yeah, I'm one of those guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys, just like you.
Well, I'm not gonna. I mean, I don't know if my girlfriend appreciates it, but yeah, if I'm bored at like a family function, I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna
Yeah,
play around a little bit, see
yeah.
what happens.
Dude, it's nothing wrong with it. I mean, when your bone moves, it moves, man. It's a
Yeah,
good thing. It's a very healthy thing.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
yeah, that's how I got into acting. To continue then, so after Pitch Perfect 2, I've worked with another agency, and then started working like day player roles on Scream Queens and like Fist Fight with Ice Cube and like uh those it's crazy in New Orleans. I'm very one of the few Vietnamese people in the community. Very big community here, very small but big. Kind of communities
yeah,
here. Um, and it was a big deal that during that time Vietnamese wasn't like coming up there, or even the Asian wave, right? With filming and stuff. It wasn't prevalent. But now, as you can see, Crazy Rich Asians, and
yeah.
we got Shang Chi and all that stuff, man. It's popping big. Um, so I kept auditioning until I got Happy Death Day, the first one, and I didn't know what to expect, but they made me a lead into the second one, which I became the cause of the time loop. Yeah, it was insane. That was the pivotal moment of my career.
Yeah, that's a big moment too, especially with your trajectory. I mean, yeah, people can do either like a couple co-star roles, day player roles, move on to something else. They can spend their like half their careers doing that and then get into
Yeah,
something else. Did you have any
yeah.
hesitancy when like the second Happy Death Day came about and they're like, "Hey, yeah, you're like a primary character in this movie, dude."
Dude, well, the director believed in me so much, so I
Mhm.
took that honor. I was, all right, I got you, man. Like, I'm gonna work hard. I do the best I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lot of pressure, of course, and as any profession, there's always going to be pressure, and
Mhm.
how we handle the pressure is it becomes a professionalism, right? It's like, oh wow, he can handle himself under all this. Everyone's watching him, or him or her. I think that's the biggest part for me. I have a lot of support from my wife. She was there for me, reading the whole script, interpreting the characters, giving me some tips. Like she was basically my acting coach. She's basically my acting coach. Yeah, literally, because she's really brutally honest with me, and that's what I need. That's what anyone needs, right? You need to be brutally honest.
Yeah.
I'm doing a tape audition. She's like, "Nah, it looks fake." I'm like, "Oh, damn, that hurts my feelings, but I got to keep going." So that I needed her. So she's the one that actually like grew me as a person or as an actor in this whole career thing, and she's been really really at it with me, and yeah. So I dealt with the pressure. I think it was really fine. I enjoyed set a lot. It was something. It was really something. At one point, I'll show you a little fun story.
Yeah.
I told the director, "Hey, listen, I only got 2 hours of sleep last night. I don't know why." And it was like one of the hardest days for me on the scene. So I took micro naps throughout the whole like time, like 15-minute increments. Okay, scene 4 or whatever. I'm like, all right, I'm up. I'm like drinking like caffeine. I'm like, because I was so excited. I don't know. Have you had that before, where you're so excited you can't sleep, and then you're like, oh, dang it! Like that's what
Oh.
that's what happened.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
dude.
dude, that was me 2 nights ago. You're up at 3, you're like, "All right, I'm just gonna get up. Nothing it's not gonna happen. I gotta get up for this."
Good. Well, yeah, I'm happy we're on the same boat with dancing and that as well. Um, but yeah, I've learned to relax a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right, mom, but you can go. No more barking, okay? So where are we at? Oh yeah. explain this. So yeah, working on Happy Death 2, yeah, it was
Yeah.
a life-changing experience, and I think it was really really fun, man, just extraordinary.
And you know what? You started out in a region that I don't think we've covered a whole lot in the show as far as like guests go, man. Working in like New Orleans, Louisiana, like that part
Hmm.
of the Southeast area. What was it like kind of building a career for yourself? I mean, obviously you were getting jobs and booking these really awesome parts, but I guess in comparison to, I'm sure you're probably in LA right now, right? Like, what are some big standouts as far as New Orleans and like Los Angeles or Atlanta and Los Angeles? What are those big differences you've noticed?
Okay, so I'll start the first one with South Hollywood. When I was yeah, I think they were filming a lot. I think about 3 4 years ago when I just got into acting, and it was like, oh, Tremaine's filming this, NCIS, and all that. But what I've noticed is it was a lot of opportunity for local, like day player, 3 day player, some supporting roles, and very minimal lead roles. But getting work wise, yes, it was happening because when I was in class, I took a acting class recommended by my first agency when I worked with them, and it was really cool. But that's when I noticed people from LA. They were coming from LA to New Orleans because one, LA is too expensive, and number two, it was just hard of a competition. So what happens, right, when you have experienced LA actors in New Orleans? You're most likely gonna get booked over the others because you're LA trained, I guess you can say. I mean, they work really hard. That's what they do there, man. Like it is what it is. Um, but during that time coming up, yeah, I see filming a lot more. I mean, one of the biggest shows here is I believe it's The Originals, yeah? That's like
Oh
Vampire
yeah, I
Diaries.
see breakdowns for that
Dude,
constantly. Yeah.
yeah, dude, it's yeah, I need to watch it, but I've read a lot about it, and it's a good concept. It reminds me of a lot of this anime on Naruto. But yeah, so one, I'm not in LA no more because it is too expensive. But number two, I got an agent and manager from LA. That's what I just needed. And most of the times now, because of COVID, everyone wants to do tape auditions. It's just easy to just kind of go, you know.
Yeah.
So that's actually a positive for me because I want to raise a family here with my wife and my grandparents and whatnot, and I want that. It will be really hard if that was, the other case we live in LA. But no, I missed LA. Don't get me wrong. I missed it so much. The nature part I miss the most, and some of the food. Oh yeah, the food's good. Oh my gosh. Dude, yeah, my wife and I, we love food, man. That's our thing, man.
Oh yeah,
Pizza,
what do you guys get
burgers.
down on? What's your go-to?
Go to Leo's. We go to Leo. Oh, you talking about like LA food
I
in
mean,
general,
just like
or
as far as
oh?
LA food goes, man, is there a place that when I go out there I should check out?
Okay, I'm a Korean fried chicken fan, but BBQ chicken, it's fire, man. Like
Ooh.
crispy. Oh my god, like. I mean, if you're not, yeah, I don't know if you're vegan or you're
Oh
are you
no, no, I eat everything.
okay, okay. Donut friends, bro. Donut friends, vegan donuts. That blew my mind. Oh my Jesus. Oh my, they're so
Oh,
good. Okay, dude, dude, vegan donuts. You could think you're like, wait, why? How vegan?
yeah.
No, vegan donuts are the goat. It's the goat, bro. Oh my gosh, I'm craving.
No way.
Eh, actually, my wife, she's the one that looked at all these amazing places and nature and stuff, while I was working. So, I had a lot to thank her for. Like, she said, "Oh, let's try this new place." I'm like, "All right, what is it?" Boom, 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 boom. We trying like tacos. Sonora Town was really good. Oh my gosh, that was good Mexican food. All right, so back to the thing.
Ooh.
I know I'm going tangents
Oh,
here.
no, 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 I
Um,
had to bring you onto that tangent because I had to know, but yeah,
uh,
yeah,
Yo, I love food, bro. Food is life. I'm telling you. But so let's see. I didn't answer your question. So how South Hollywood kind of building up in compared to Atlanta? Yeah,
Mhm,
Atlanta I know is bigger than us. But I think Atlanta's obviously bigger and it's more of a hub than New Orleans, and New Orleans is more of a tourist place, right?
yeah.
And where places to film because we have the historic landmark of the French and the buildings. It looks beautiful. So I think that's probably why. But I think Atlanta has the more of the hub city, of South
Yeah.
Hollywood. But we're better. Don't say anything. What? Oh yeah, yeah. We got hospitality over there. Yeah, don't
No,
tell them no.
no, that's really cool. Honestly, I've noticed a lot of breakdowns for Louisiana recently, more so recently than ever before. So it sounds like, you guys are still getting a lot of work going your way. I mean, do you have anything coming down the pipeline that either you're
Yeah.
auditioning for? You don't have to mention like titles, but Have you noticed
Yeah.
like a boost in like film breakdowns or TV breakdowns?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
This famous book called Sympathizer. It's I think it's a Caucasian male. No,
Yes.
he's a mix. Yeah, yeah. But the Sympathizer, you know about
Yeah.
that? It's a Vietnam
Yeah.
War kind of thing. Hey,
Yeah.
look at me being. I auditioned for this. Yeah, me being that show. Yeah, right. But I'll do it because it was such an honor to do play these characters, or
Yeah.
do the audition. But I said, man, listen, man, you gonna put me in there? I mean, I love on me. It's one of those moments. I think 4 years ago, it was like you get that moment like, wait, Lucy's Chinese, but why they give me an audition for this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then as a job as an actor, it's not about booking it. I mean, yeah, you book it to make money, but I think the core job is to do your homework and do the audition and make a fan for the casting director because yeah, sure, you're not, fitting for the role. Sometimes I think, oh, I'm wasting my time, but I'll do it anyway because you know what? Let me get into the skin, let me be this thing and have fun with it. That is part of an actor's job, like just to have fun with these characters and to show face that you are a professional because I think that they submit you into the casting network and then the casting director says, "Oh, okay, let's have these people audition for the role." So submission, right? And then acceptance and then throw the auditions out to the selected actors to audition for. So in a sense, they want to see me audition, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'll do it and I'll see where it goes. And no expectations, just go at it. Um, the other work that I'm really excited for, I recently went to Vietnam for a pilot. It was that was incredible. Whoa, man, Vietnam. I haven't been to Vietnam since I was 7. And I'm filming like I think I was like, yeah, I'm like one of the main characters in there. It's
Whoa.
called Early Risers. Yeah, yeah. And it talks about expats in 2008. So 2008, we got the market crash in the
Mhm.
economy. So we got these expats, which is just people from out the foreign country that are called expats going to Vietnam and living for cheap. And I play one of the characters who's I think Elon Musk follows him or something like that, but he's really cool. His name is Chung Van. He's one of the sub writers, but definitely one of the characters I play as him when he lived his life in Vietnam in 2008. And I'll tell you what, I played the dancer, the guy that whoa at parties like 50 cent beers and oh man, dude, that was dude that. So I think we filmed like 2 episodes, and they're like trying to pitch it right now. So I'm really like I'm crossing my fingers, man. It's gonna be such a fun show to work on, and
Oh
that's
my
like,
god.
yeah, dude, that's a good one.
Yeah, I
I'm
kept
amazing.
seeing the breakdowns for that. Yeah, it must have
Hmm.
been a while ago now, but it sounded like a great project. Like I'm gonna put that out there, man. Like you guys get picked up, you start like just push it through, multiple seasons. Get that stuff in order, dude. And then the sympathizer is, I think that has Downey in it.
Yo, yeah, that's down here. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's what makes me so excited, right? Because we
yeah,
have someone that that has a name, but he wants to work on this and it's a great project. I don't know if you read the book. I haven't read the book, but do you know what's
no,
it about? So basically, it's about uh during the war he plays as a double agent. I think for the North Convict in intelligence, and he's like playing both sides basically, and he's the sympathizer guy, and I heard the book's really good because I was doing my homework as an actor, right? Like, what is the book and
yeah,
what it's about? And yeah, it's really good. But uh, on a tangent, another project that I just finished, which they want to submit in Sundance Festival, which is like I'm like really excited for. Um, it's called it's Untitled Getaway Driver, but it's a based on a true story. I'll tell you the true story. So the true story is in Orange County there was a prison break. It was 3 felons. One was I think he was 20, 25 when he broke out. Yeah, 25. Guys, another guy named Bak, who was 36 years old, and the Middle Eastern guy was like 32, and his name was Hussein.
mm,
Hussein Bak and Jonathan. They broke out of jail, a very high prison jail. Okay, they all had felons, and they kidnapped or held hostage a taxi driver. So in this story that we, in conceptual form, we see the story behind in captivity in closed space, and what does that feel like with felons and escapees, and how do they live, and what they're going to do next, kind of thing. I think it's one of those slow burn kind of movies.
yeah.
Like it takes time and detail and colors, like really artsy. And I think for that one had like I had to prep for that one the most because it was such an emotional roller coaster. You know, I'm like
Yeah.
sad. I'm like a kid. Like I play I did what, a murder? Yeah, I shot somebody. Well, Jonathan did. Um, the guy who escaped prison. He's charged with a felon. He's only what, 16 years old. He went to juvenile, then transferred to prison because he did a drive by in Garden Grove or somewhere in LA.
Whoa.
So yeah, so there's a big deal. And I guess what I'm portraying is what, just a kid. He's just a kid, man. Like, but he did something wrong, but there's a vessel in there. It's to humanize. It's not to justify, right, these
Yeah.
felonies, but it's just to see what's it like in their position. So yeah, that one I am very anticipated. I think it's going to be released in January. Yeah, that one's going to be January, February, around there. Um, Dude, yeah, that was an epic film. I'm talking about like
Whoa.
gritty, and like like dude, like oh my god, it's like one of the movies where you're kind of like this, you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
like what's going to happen? Like not edge your seat, but you're like tensed up a little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's one of those. And then and the one in playing Vietnam, it's one of those grab a beer and you drink, you just like have fun watching. It's like, oh my god, it's freaking goofy. Or this is Vietnam. That's what this film is. The pilot's gonna be like. It's gonna be like, this is Vietnam,
Yeah.
America. Like this is how paradise is, like on the cheap. That's what it is. Oh my
And
god,
those
bro.
are like very conflicting characters personality wise, right? I mean, like the obviously the job of an actor is to fulfill a character's like fill up their skin and then just kind of embrace their personality. I'm curious. I got to ask you, like, what's your prep like for roles like these, man? I mean, obviously you have who like it's based on who these people are, but what's your intrinsic prep like? Like, what do you have to do to get your mind into that spot?
So for Trung, sometimes your original, like who you are as a person, your character, it is a character already, right, to
Yeah,
other people. um that is actually one unique thing about every human being in the world. You are a character of yourself. That is one thing. But as far as for Jonathan, who I had to study, I couldn't talk to him. I researched about him, and I talked to people who actually knew him in high school. I can't talk to a felon, or we didn't have life rights, right?
yeah,
So I had to conceptualize who I wanted him to be inside of me. And, you know, it was very similar things when the director worked hand in hand with me. For mental work, I basically had to revisit ideas and imagine some things. But I think the most difficult part was there was one point where I was like, man, I can't cry, right? Like I can't.
mm,
That was really hard. See, I had to cry in the scene. I never done a crying scene before, but that one took a lot of prep because I had to work these emotions, right? Like I started playing like sad songs, like and doing imagery. I do a lot of imagery, right? Like listen to songs and imagine things to a point where it almost happened. If that makes sense in your head, like you're
yeah,
conditioning. So I do a lot of imagery conditioning. I do substitution. Uh, Substitution would be like you took a real life experience, right? And you went through that already, and you reimagine in your head. So it's kind of almost like plug and play, sort of, right? Well, no, I never shot nobody, no, but I've I could imagine what it would be like, and why I did that, right? And like and studied the behavior. So and also like I do study the behavior of these characters. Like
mm,
there is a reason why they do this, right? Why? Why is that? And I dig deeper and deeper. It's an emotional thing, right? It's an emotional. What kind of trauma you had? That's what basically happened. What trauma and behaviors you were raised as a kid, and in your influences for you to do this. So then you have to build, from the ground up, and then that's how I usually prepare for on days work. Like, or I worked on Jonathan, that guy. I worked on him for like I think half a year, so I, I had a good amount of time for him. Because I'm like, listen, director. I mean, listen, I never shot nobody, but you know, I I can feel it. I can feel it in here, but I can't feel it. But he helped me a lot. He had his whole idea written. Dude, he had this project already ready like 6 months before he even talked to me. So um it was I remember talking to him about the casting a little bit because it was interesting how he said at first, he was like, yeah, when your audition tape, it seemed like you've been in this already. I said, that's kind of funny because I'm being 30 years old, right? And looking I guess 20, right, to some people's eyes, or a young
Oh, you
adult.
easily look 20.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, thanks. I
We're in
appreciate
the
it, man.
same boat because I just turned 30 this year.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you found the fountain of youth.
Oh,
Okay,
oh
cool.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
curious.
We use
Okay,
that
cool,
same
cool.
cream, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not a fountain. It's actually. So, so behind the look, he auditioned like 18-year-olds before, and it's really hard, right, for someone with that baggage. Like I'm talking about someone that was in a gang. He was in that trail path and did a whole bunch of that. It is hard for someone that young to be going to something and audition to it. You know, it's hard. It's kind of hard to produce. Let's be honest here, right? So I've had something similar. So I did substitution. You know, I was in a family. I don't think they were a gang when they were a family, but that vibe was there. Like the rebellious Vietnamese, lost Asian. I don't want to be a medical student. You know,
Yeah.
idea. So it kind of fell into me. I'm like, all right, I kind of feel this kid. Like I know. So that was really cool that as a choice, right? When you audition, you make choices, and then those choices you just give it your best, and then and if the casting director likes you, you go down, you go to round two, and that's good enough. Round two is way more than good enough. Trust me, because like the whole idea of auditioning is like brutal when some people think they say, "Oh man, I can't, I keep auditioning. I don't know why I'm not booking." It's not. It's really not about booking. That's the thing, because I don't know if you know how the casting process works,
Oh
like
yeah,
with the whole. You know,
yeah.
okay, then yeah, it's not up to the casting writer. Just letting you know, there's many rounds before you get picked.
There's so many
Trust.
levels.
Yeah, so many. Dude, it's like a level 99. What's the most difficult video game that you can explain? Can you bring as a metaphor? Because I feel like that's how acting is. It's like playing an impossible game or something almost.
I feel like there was a game, like, probably when we were in high school that was on it was a browser game you can get on Google or something, and, like, first level is kind of easy, right? Like, "Oh, cool, I got into, I don't know, whatever workshop, whatever class," but then each level you go up, it becomes damn near impossible.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. So we both understand. Okay, those browser games, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you
They,
know what
ma-
I'm talking
so
about.
like they make it impossible so you can read the ads on the side. So that's what they get paid for. Okay, so that's why. So they got us. They manipulated us a little bit. Um, so
But
have you
yeah.
have you watched Happy Death Day and stuff?
Yeah, man, so I watched, I think I watched Fist Fight first, and then I saw Happy Death Day later and saw you in that.
Yeah,
And it's like I'll be honest, man. I've been in it for 10 years, and I just started taking it seriously maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And that was
yeah,
about when I was seeing Happy Death Day and Fist Fight and Logan, and seeing people who are also like ethnically ambiguous actors and perform. Like people like us who can fill certain spaces. And I was noticing that there's a jump in like diversity, which is really cool. So yeah, when I saw Happy Death Day, I'm like, this guy's hilarious. Like this is like the first
yeah.
film, he's hilarious, he's awesome. Like, God, that'd be a cool role to fill up. And then second one came out, and you killed
Thanks, man. Thanks.
it.
I appreciate it, man. You know, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, of course, dude.
Trust me, I give myself a good C minus on my performance. You know, I'm hindsighting a lot of what of my choices could have been, but at the end of the day, that's something that you're not supposed to do, right? Like you just you learn from what you do and you move forward because you can do it. What I'm gonna do? Rewind time? You know, I could do that in the movie. I could do that, but I can't do it now, bro. Can't do it now.
Can
No,
you
actually, if
watch
I would,
yourself though?
yeah, I can. I can.
Okay.
I can turn off my humanity and be like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that guy's good. Oh, is that you could have done better? You know, I have to. You know, I have to be honest. I used to be oh yeah, I used to be really hard on myself when it came to dancing because when I studied dancing and noted, I had no teacher, right? I studied dancing through a monitor, so I mimic the moves, what they do, where the choreographers are who I looked up to, and I do it myself. And I'm like, and I look in the mirror, I'm like, no, that's not right. Come on, be honest to yourself. You know this is supposed to be like this, it's sharp and hit hard. Dude, I was really, like into my craft and dancing. But acting is a little bit different, obviously, because
Yeah.
it's physical and it's a mental performance. Like it's a physicality, but I specialize in dance. I don't dance much as no more, but I'll still bust out some moves. I'll tell you that much. When the time is needed. actually, you know what's fun? I'll tell you. In the pilot I worked on, Early Risers, fake dancing is actually harder than real dancing. I just realized because I had to do it like what freaking 4 times. I'm like, Zach, man, the director Zach Merrick. I was like, Zach, man, I can't. I don't know. Oh, you can. He's like, Fee, can you do one more? I'm like, one more, dude. I'm like dying, and it's like fake dancing, okay? Fake dancing or acting like you dance. Oh my gosh. You see, when you're at parties, right, we drink, we
Oh
have
yeah.
fun, and we're dancing, and we're hurting the next morning because the alcohol is a numb kind of, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
It does that.
downer. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not, yeah, it breaks you down. You don't feel anything the day. Oh my God, why is my back hurting the next day? And why am I sore? So hey, I can't. You can't drink liquor on set, but actually, I was drinking caffeine, green tea, and I
Oh,
looked up. I'm
dude,
like, why am
yeah.
I getting so much cramps? I looked up on. You get cramps if you drink too much green tea. So this I'll tell you a little small of the scene. I'm drinking, right? I'm like, because I'm like I heard I'm like hurt. I'm like, man, I don't want to drink. And these it looks like Hennessy, but it's not. It's freaking green tea. They use green tea, so I'm dancing with a cramp. I'm dancing with a
Oh.
cramp, man. Ooh, it was so bad. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm not. I'm look. I'm not gonna complain on set. I'm a tank. When I'm in work, I'm at work. But damn, that stuff was painful. Imagine that. Imagine that. You're drinking green tea.
Yeah.
My belly is like full of it, and I'm like cramping. I'm like, I feel like 8 months pregnant. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy right now. I feel drunk when not even drunk.
They
But
couldn't,
that's
like
dude.
they couldn't dilute it for you? I mean, it's a diuretic. You're gonna be cramping like crazy.
Well, thanks for the idea. Now, thank you. We should have done this podcast last year because
Dude,
that was a good idea.
because
Oh
people will
my
put like they'll
god.
put I don't know, like black tea or something to fill in for whiskey every if someone doesn't want apple
Right,
juice. I'm like, dude, give
right.
me the juice. At least it's not gonna suck the water out of my body like this is gonna do. You know?
Dude, yeah, obviously, if I would have read that green tea, no, it was jasmine tea, not your natural one, the processed one. So you're gonna get your cramps. I thought it was something else. That's why I looked on Google. I'm like, what am I? Why am I getting cramps? Looked on Google, jasmine green tea, too much cause cramps. All right, cool, that's it. And that was funny. Uh, no, man, that film, dude, that pilot, dude, I'm like, I'm crossing fingers really hard, man. It's gonna be really fun. Like, it's like Hangover. It's like Hangover in Vietnam, but not really. But it's like that kind of vibe. Like, your party, it's crazy stuff happening. You're like, what is that? It is like eye opening because
Yeah.
it's America needs to see the new world, right? Like
Mhm.
Vietnam, Japan. They need some decent shows on that, man. That's why I would love to see diversity, right? More and
Yeah.
more of the culture. I mean, Game of Thrones. Look at Game of Thrones. That's culture in the English, right? Technically, the medieval times, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna reach a really good future with cinema. I really think so, man. You know.
Oh, I totally agree. The way things, especially like hearing stuff from the Toronto International Film Festival this year, and like just
Mm,
things that are coming up. They're like early risers, and the breakdowns are coming through for that. And there's all these like native
mm.
shows that I've been going out for. I'm like, this is great. Like this is fantastic. But I agree. Like I'm sick of seeing like Vancouver covering for like Colorado or something. Let's go to
Uh,
another country. Like let's show off Greenland. Like let's do some other stuff. I totally agree.
oh yeah, man. I mean, look, I think it was one time when I first started auditioning, and then I started to gradually see an audition breakdown saying we're open to diversity. When I
Mm.
first saw that, because it was like American named Carl, but they're open to cast. They're willing to let other diversity audition for the role.
Yeah.
So, and I think this is a great part of it. What's the biggest reaction right now that I'm seeing that I'm like I want to see how people react? It's Little Mermaid. That that in itself is a big flip, dude. It's like wow, 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 wow. I mean, how do
Yeah.
you feel about that?
Oh, you know what? Like coming, it's funny, man. Like growing up in, like, I didn't have my dad around, my biological dad, so I grew up in a predominantly like Caucasian family. So I never
Mm,
felt like I belonged. And I grew up on, watching Caucasian folks and these roles I
mm,
loved. So seeing this change at first was like, oh, this is kind of uncanny, because you're not used to it. But I'm
right.
I'm super pumped for it. There's like my favorite.
comic book of all time is The Rocketeer, and I love that movie. So I'd love to play that character for a reboot. Like that's my version of like
Wait,
filling. It's a very. It's not.
wait,
He's
Rocketeer.
googling it right now. It's one of those like low tier sort of comics, but it's badass, man. Like, and speaking of which, like you brought up the diversity and the inclusivity. Like, who would you want to play that's not typically like an Asian looking character? Or even if they were going to reboot something, like who would you want to do? Like Indiana Jones or like I don't know, something like that. You know?
You know, that's really hard to say because honestly, that's I haven't even thought about it because I say, man, at the end of the day, I think the emotion of the character really the baseline of the character,
Mhm.
the story behind the character can carry the whole character itself. So essentially, I guess what I'm trying to say is, as long as for me they carry the character, you can carry them, the baggage, the weight. That's what speaks to me. I don't care what the hell you look like, man. You gotta carry it. That's all I
Hell
care
yeah,
about, man. Like
yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. I'm here to watch what you feel. I don't
yeah,
care what you look like, okay? Because I mean, that'll be a plus, right? If they can look like okay, the Avatar, the Last Airbender, okay, you can look like them, sure. Because I'm anticipating for that Netflix show.
mhm.
Now I had to let it go because I actually auditioned for Jet.
Oh
I
no
remember
way.
that, but I can't tell you much more than that.
Yeah.
But I can say I auditioned for Jet because there's Jet gonna be on there, right? Shit. But um, what I wanted to expect is yeah, they look young. That's cool. They dropped the names of the characters who's gonna play it. Um, and you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender? Have you watched it?
I
It's a good
watched the
one.
original series ages ago, like probably
Okay,
10
oh,
or
cool, cool.
12 years ago, right? Like a
Right. So
long
do you know
time ago.
the Avatar is the person who
Yeah.
contains all. Okay, so Avatar Roku. I can say this because it's on IMDb. C.S. Lee, who actually works with me on Early Risers, he plays a first lead, and he's Avatar Roku. I just looked it up. I'm like,
No
wait,
way,
I
dude.
remember, I remember, because I just look at all my castmates' credits, like what they've been in, so we could talk about it, have fun with it, whatever. And who's Avatar Roku? I didn't say anything. I'm just, yeah, I'm sitting next to an Avatar right now. It's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it's kind of cool. I didn't even say anything about it, but yeah, that was really fun. To just to kind of like a little gift inside my heart to be next to him. He's a really cool guy, man. He taught me a lot of wine things, so
Oh,
that's
really?
something great. Yeah,
You're a
that's why I
wine
drink a
guy
little wine.
now?
Hey, I'm a wine guy now. $20 is the most you should spend on the bottle of wine.
Yeah, that's about the
On
cap.
yeah, it's about the cap. On very special occasions, maybe, $40 is cool. I'm cool with
Even then,
that.
it's on clearance. Like, oh, it's down to 40. You know what? Let's
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it. Let's
Yeah. I mean, discount because the bottle looks kinda old, maybe a little discount. Oh, it has a dink on it too, so that's $5 off.
well,
I got
dude,
you every
that's
cent, man.
it's you brought up like, when your friends score a job like that and how awesome it is. I mean, I I don't know how to ask this, but have you ever experienced, like you're around people of your group or your group of friends, and someone isn't like that supportive friend? If somebody
Yep.
books something and they're that jealous person, like how do you handle that within your group? I think that's pretty important for especially young actors to hear.
Oh, yeah, I think so, yeah. So if and that's a very common thing. I think it's a very natural human behavior, right?
Mhm.
I guess depends on the when you grow up with good sportsmanship or not.
Yeah.
That is the main thing. Uh, I'll tell you one thing. So in an agency, let's just say there's 5 to 10, let's say 20, 30, 40 of the same maybe looking Caucasian guys. They all get the same what audition, and essentially you're there. I think some of them might overhear. They say, "Oh, it's like a competition. It's like a lottery ticket." And when I hear that, I'm like, "Dang, I can't understand it, but I can feel what you're saying because I'm the only maybe one or two Asian people in my roster." So essentially, later on, it's going to get obviously packed, and that's okay because at the end of the day, for me, I felt that before, right? I felt that fear of missing out before. Like someone booked the wall, I'm like, why am I feeling like this? I remember feeling like that. It was like 2 years ago. I'm like, dang. that person's been working a lot. So at the end of the day, you have to be happy for them and be inspired by like, man, I gotta catch up, man. What am I doing? They must have been working. They have been working, right? They must have been doing something right. And I think something right is consistency.
Mm.
I think one actor told me it's about the right timing. If you continue to do the work and make fans on the cast directors, you eventually will get booked because obviously the cast director said, "Yeah, let him. I want him to audition. I want to see what he got." They want you to.
Mm.
So if you book out, I mean, if you're like, if you what's that called? If you do a no show or no
Oh
tape,
yeah.
that's kind of a red flag. They're like, "Wow, I was kind of waiting for it, so maybe I shouldn't do it next time." You know, I have been. Have I been? I've been around one person that kind of felt they said felt left out because that person played the character, in one of the things I was in, and they felt like left out, and
Mm.
it's more left out than more like a salty vibe. So, and that's okay to feel. Anyone can feel left out. That's
Mm.
totally fine. Um, but at the end of the day, I say for myself, man, like and other people that are just getting into acting, I say just be a good sport, man, and keep doing your homework, keep doing your auditions, and bring good vibes because
Mm.
that's what we're here for, man. We're here for good vibes because that's the way to go, man. You gotta be positive, bro. You gotta go in, do your homework, say what's up, casting director. Peace, bro. I'm done.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally it. Hey, what's up? All right, I'm gonna go. Yeah. You have 1,000 people to see. I'll be honest. I would. I don't know how I do that job. I'm just like, I'll be dead. I'll be
Oh,
burnt.
could you
I'll be burnt.
imagine? Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I can't even say 100 without dying inside. Like I give it up to them. They are strong as hell, dude. Like, and I feel bad sometimes. I mess up with my homework, man. Like some audition, I'm like, man, I didn't do my homework. I gotta, I feel like I wasted the time, and
Yeah.
I own up to that because I own up to things I mess up on because that's the only way you can grow. Like if you did a bad job, own up to it. I even text my agent, like, man, look, I messed up. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like I've done great deed. Okay. And sometimes I feel good about audition. Like, dude, yeah, she laughed, they laughed, we had a good time.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and this is like a quick thing to just ask because it's funny seeing how the world has shifted within this industry. But what do you prefer? Do you prefer like in person auditions or do you prefer self tapes?
You know what? I actually prefer self tapes. I really do because at the end of the day, it's not theater, right? In
Yeah.
my opinion, it's about taping. And as actors, we can at least alleviate some anxiety. I think anxiety and stress ages you. And when you're in person with them, for some like me, it does give me anxiety. But if I've seen that casting actor many, many, many times, I'd be more comfortable. But I think both is great because no matter what, you're gonna be on set anyway, right?
Yeah.
And more than one person gonna be looking at you, and all of everyone's gonna look at you. So that's actually a good thing. But I prefer tape because I actually like observing my choices as an actor. I'm like, okay, like I'm like watching myself. I'm like, okay, that looks good. Okay, that was bad. I'm gonna delete that one. Like I get to be an audience, and I like that for myself. So you can't do that with live audition because you get to kind of like register, like journal, right? You have to journal after your audition, like, okay, I did bad or good. But at the end of the day, you're gonna be end up on the screen. So how you look, how you perform, what you say, how you enunciate, whatever it is, that's gonna count like the most. So I really like taping. It's very convenient for a lot of people,
Oh
so
yeah. Yeah. How's
yeah.
your setup, by the way? I know the home and office setups were you couldn't find a ring light like mid pandemic for less than probably $200. It
Dude,
was
I
so
had
bad.
I had to reinvest because the bigger soft lamps, like I
Yeah.
used to have those. I was like, man, it's not good no more. So what I do, I brought like this 2 years ago. It's the LED one where you control temperature and lighting, and I just like do
Oh
this. Like
wow.
I don't put it to the face. I just do a shadow like this, and then like it captures like perfectly. But as long as my background, sometimes I use a bed sheet, but sometimes I really like like it's like a really nice. You in photography when you go into a room, they have that big colored gray
Oh, like the big
cardboard.
backdrop, like the slate backdrop?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, slate. Yes, I had one of those, but I think my dog did something. It's like I'm like, bro, like why? Now I gotta get a new one. So I'm waiting for that. But yeah, I'm really not big on quality on film as long as it's good enough. You
Yeah.
can understand what I'm saying and nothing looks too distracting to the face, or actually the clothes, right? And I'm okay. But no, actually clothes. No, I choose my own outfit for the characters. Like I'm like, all right, this look like him. That makes me feel like him. I'll do it. I don't care, and this is the crazy part. I'm gonna show you the audition I did for Getaway Driver, the one
Mhm.
that worked in LA, the with the prison break. I shaved my head for that because he had shaved head,
Okay.
and I felt, and I've been buzz cut before, like this. Yeah, I've been like that before, and I felt it. And I was like, dang man, that was probably uh, I mean, dude, the guy from what's his name? It. Yeah, he came in. The actor that played it, the
Oh
clown.
yeah, yeah.
He actually did the clown thing. Going, that guy he is committed. That is commitment, man. And I saw Khal Drogo, Aquaman,
Oh
Jason
yeah,
Momoa.
Momoa, dude.
I
Yeah.
saw his Game of Thrones audition. And he was like wearing like all this like goth looking. I'm like, dude, that dude's committed, bro. I mean, think about that, like goth clothes, looking like not goth, but like Dothraki. If you watched Game of Thrones
Yeah, yeah.
before, kind of vibe. Yeah, so you see, actors' choices, man, it really matters. It really does.
It totally, dude. I was booked on I think it was a non-union commercial. It wasn't anything crazy, but I was booked because I used a toilet paper roll as a phone for a prop. Like little stuff like that. You think is, "Oh, I'm just gonna goof around."
That's
And they're like,
so funny.
"Oh,
Oh
we
my god,
loved it." Like, okay,
yo, it's funny.
that's great. But no, I love that, man. I love that you make those choices, that you start feeling the character, and it's just I don't know, it's part of the fun of this job. And I mean, with everything you've been through in the last almost 10 years and the career that
Yeah,
you've built, I like asking this in like towards the end of the episode, and it's if you have I call it a party story, but if you have an experience that stands out to you within your career that you would gladly share with friends at a party? Do you have something like that? Like something that maybe it was your first day on Happy Death Day, or like a job that you you were working and
uh,
ended up not enjoying it so much, or so, like, because it was just insane. But if you have an experience like that, we can redact all names and stuff like that. But do you have a story you could share?
dude. Okay, hold on, man. This is. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let me try and see. Oh my goodness. Now, I mean that. You know what? I think I'm just saying because I think I can. It's funny. It's okay. So, do you remember the scene where Ryan Fan wakes up from the car, where he starts this little day, and the first person he comes across is this dog named Frank. That dog Frank is one of my best friends. He's great. He's a great method actor. Don't tell me. Don't get me wrong. He's a great method acting because I actually was walking, what's it called, camera back to him. So I actually whispered because they wanted him to like bark at me, right? So there was a command. It's called what was the command? What was the command? I'm so traumatized. Let me think. What is it? What's the trick? Say Frank. Hey Frank. It was like Hey Frank or something. And I listed it because obviously the camera can't see me.
Yeah.
So he wasn't barking. I'm like, he's not barking. Hey Frank, Frank, Frank. And he started barking. But as I got near him, he launched forward and he bit my dick.
No. What? No. No. No.
Yeah,
No. 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 No.
yeah.
No. Are you kidding me,
Oh, dude, it was so crazy.
dude?
Look, look. Listen. I pulled away fast. Okay, I was like, wait, what
Okay.
just happened? And then
Okay.
actually, I pulled away fast and I held it and watched this as I'm holding it like this, right? And then the glide cam guy, he goes like this into my face. I'm like, I'm like, dude, cut. I'm like, he's still recording because his duty is to keep recording until someone says cut. So, so then I'm like, hey, Chris, man, I got my dick got bit. And it's like a real comedy like scene. It was so funny. And he was like, oh my god, okay, and then called the medic over, and then we went to the side. I'm like, I checked. I'm like, all right, we're cool, man. Let's just keep going. I don't care. He's a cool guy, cool kid. Good Frank, man, the dog, star of the show, man. He's cool. So I kept going, and dude, that was crazy, dude. I was like, what's going? I mean, I don't know, man. At first, it was actually what's a fluffy dog? Like a poodle? Not a poodle.
Like a Pomeranian?
There we go.
Yeah.
Because it's funny when a Pomeranian is vicious, right? That's the joke. Yeah, Frank, he was a little tough, a little handsome little guy. He looked like the one that can jump. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what happened with me. Uh, dude, bro. I mean,
I think
I was
you just topped every party story on the show.
dude. I'm like, I don't even know it. I mean, to this day, I'm not salty about it because you have to laugh about it, man. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cry about that, bro. I mean, worst could have happened on accidents, right? I mean, I'm sure a lot more accidents happen on set. So I was fortunate enough, and we made a joke about it. Now we both share a laugh, and I can make anyone laugh at that story. I guarantee you that much. Because you're like, what? What happened? I'm like, yeah, bro, it happened. It was the tip of my thing, man. That's what it is, man. I'm remembering what's happening right now. Another party story, I wouldn't know because that's the only one that could top everything,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, you deserve an award for that story because that beats
Oh yeah.
absolutely everything. Well, it makes God, it makes this next part so much easier to ask. It's if you have any advice for listeners of this podcast, not necessarily, just actors or just dancers, but people who just want to get into the arts or maybe they're in it and they want to stay in it. Like, do you have any advice you could pass along?
Yes, yes. I think this is the number one advice because when you get into acting, make sure you understand why are you getting into acting.
Mm,
Why? Because if it's for the wrong reason, you're gonna get burnt out really fast. So if you don't have any heart for it, don't waste your time. Like do some research, talk to yourself about it, and say, "Man, do I want to do this?" And then watch some podcasts like this, and get some real interviews and real things. You know, Actors do work hard. I'm just saying they do.
mm.
You worked on commercial and stuff. We know it's some hard work because it's not what you really think it is. I'll tell you that much.
Oh
But
yeah.
you can make anything fun. You just have, you yourself have to be what part of it. Put your heart in it.
Mm.
So remember, put your heart in it. If it's not, you might want to reconsider. But always keep yourself humble. Always say yes and thank yous and pleases, man. And be nice to people. Be nice. Like that is really extraordinarily like good. Be nice and respectful. That's like number one key in life, right? Be
Yeah.
be kind, respectful. Get your manners in, like that. You're gonna need that, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Dude, I love
But
it.
yeah, that's it. That's on
Yeah.
that's on the case closed right there, man.
Yeah, and
Case closed.
those are pertinent, those are pivotal. It's what everybody needs just to be a human too, just to be around other people. So that's been a big theme on the show from a lot of people too. Just in general is don't be a dick on set. There's no room for that anymore at all. So
Man, you'd be surprised, though. You'd be surprised. You'd be like,
really,
how? Yeah.
I mean, I've met a
Oh
few,
man.
but
Yeah, me too. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is a good carrying piggyback around you.
yeah,
You're right about that 100%. Like, don't be a dick because honestly, people will recognize you for that. You don't want that, man. Even if free to recognizing, you need to face that, man. That's not cool. Like you gotta be cool. Be cool, chill, happy vibes. And even if someone be a dick at you, you might just want to just walk away. That's all it is, man. It's
yep.
like, hey, man, you're having a bad day, probably. Hope you get better. But I'm gonna go over here and chill with my buddy. Hey, wait, hey, what you eating, huh?
Yeah, like, I don't have to be around this. Hey, what's up, Mark? What's going on, man? You
Yeah,
want to come over here?
exactly. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Mark? What's going on, man? How's the oysters doing, man? Oh, good, man. That's me at lunch, literally when I'm having awkward moment or go over here because the crew sometimes get and I get it, man. The
Oh
crew
yeah,
crew
they're
works hard,
exhausted,
man.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. They get crazy.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna leave
Yeah.
that key grip alone. Hey, you guys got any?
Oh shoot. Okay. I'll tell you one more story of a dick move story. So,
Yeah.
when I was working on Getaway Driver, he I was doing a lot of things. I built a Game of Thrones sea a sea throne out of fucking sand. Like I just like built it, man. Like I grabbed sticks. I'll show you a picture when I have a chance. I
Oh
built it. And
heck
I was
yeah.
so proud of it. And you know what? I wanted it to get washed up with the sea. That's just beautiful, right? Just kidding. But no, it got destroyed by somebody, but no one told me. So I said, okay, whatever. So next night happens. It was like what 4 o'clock in the morning. We're filming. I'm like bored, so I take a bunch of little rocks and I start making a face. I wanted to make this kind of face. It was like it's one of these like this, and the eyes pointed that way.
Oh
I want
yeah.
to make that face pointing to my co-star Dustin. So one dude just came up and just kicked my rocks. I was like, "What? I worked like 30 minutes on this. Why would you do that?" I didn't know how to register it. I was like, What just happened?" So I came to my friends. I was like, "Hey, that dude just kind of destroyed my rocks." I felt like a bully moment. Like, what's going on? What in? And then I told my Dustin, I'm like, "Dustin, should I be mad?" Like, I didn't know how to register my emotions. Right? I was like, "Do
Yeah.
I?" He was like, "Fee, look, man, you're valid the way you feel." I think that was a dick move. Why would he do that? It's art. I'm like, yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. It's art. But he kicked it and saying like this, moo ha ha, like doing like an evil laugh. I'm like, what is going on? This is like a cartoon show. Like, right now, like, what is going on? My feelings are hurt. I was like, oh my god. I am known as that to build like things when I'm bored, and
Yeah.
everyone appreciate it, bro. Like, but yeah, that's about it about Dick's story, man. And how I handled you ass, I just ignored him. I said, man,
Just
grab
move
grab
on.
some crafty, yeah. Man, I gonna feel bad for you, man. And then he got chewed out by other producers because he got more salty. So yeah, man, it gets it right behind your back later.
Oh my god, yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you did the right thing. You just
Yeah, thanks.
you did your own thing, like, all right, well, I don't know how to register that, but so, as we're wrapping up, man, there's one
Yeah,
last thing I want to ask you
go
before we
ahead.
do our awkward goodbyes, and it's if you have anything you want me to give a shout out to for the show, anything you want me to promote, whether it's a project, whether it's an organization, a charity, anything you really care about. Is there something I can give a shout out to for you?
Give a shout out. Okay, yeah, give a shout out to early risers. Early risers and getaway driver.
Billy Razzers and Getaway Driver. Oh hell yes.
Yeah, man, those are the most anticipated like shows or just films in general. Like I'm just so excited
Yeah.
for them to come out. So I don't know release date yet, but I'll email you when it comes out, I
Oh heck
guess.
yeah! Especially, I mean, if you guys end up going to Sundance for Getaway Driver, I should be going this next year still. So
Oh,
if it's,
word.
I'll be there, man. So I'll come check it out for sure.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that's crazy. Fingers crossed to see you then, right?
Oh
Fingers
yeah,
crossed
let's
hard.
manifest it, man. Let's manifest this stuff. Well, dude, it's
That's
I know I took an hour of your time. I don't want to take too much longer, but I just want to say like thank you for joining me. This is coming out in October. This is the start of like the spooky season podcast episode. So one, I want to say this was a blast. I had so much fun chatting with you. I want to thank you. And yeah, I can't wait for Getaway Driver, man. I hope that gets into Sundance. Like seriously.
Dude, thank you so much for having me, man. It was a pleasure talking to you. Great questions, man. I love your questions. It's just very just interactive and concrete for me to answer, man. Thank you so much for having me again. And yes, we're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
see each other at Sundance Festival,
Yes.
man. You scrapping, man. We're gonna
Yes.
go there right now. I'm gonna call them.
But before we do that, man, I close every episode with an awkward goodbye. And have you seen Wayne's World? Are you familiar with Wayne's World?
Sort of.
Okay,
But
I'm gonna essentially I'm just gonna give you a silent Wayne's World countdown. I'm gonna do one, 2, 3. When I point to you, give me your best verbal awkward goodbye, and then I'll stop the recording from there.
all right, bro.
All right, buddy, you ready? Here we go. In.
I'm gonna go now.